the Players Union podcast. I am your host, Josh Wilson. I am hashtag the True North on our Underdog Sports NBA edition page. And I'm joined tonight by...
This is Josh. I'm the Atlanta Hawks admin, human highlight meme. Ready to talk some Central Division.
Yeah. Rob, I'm the New York Knicks admin, the Randalorian. Yeah, I'm ready to talk Central Division.
I'm Mike. I'm the Oklahoma City Thunder admin, Thor's Country, and I'm ready to talk these Lakers in the West and talk about these Bulls in the East.
Yeah, so tonight we're going to start with the Lakers, and then we'll move on into previewing the Central Division. So what do you guys think was the Lakers' biggest addition this offseason?
Man, honestly, it's probably going to be a big thing for me is it's going to be Westbrook, because that's after the whole thing with the Wizards and Houston, it's going to be good to see him back in the West and actually doing the work where he should.
I mean, the LAARP, I think it was mostly addition by subtraction because they were able to get rid of Kuzma.
I forgot to think of him.
LeBron said, last year that, he won the two most difficult championships with the bubble and the 73 Warriors. And he can say he won the third hardest championship if he wins one with Westbrook.
That would be cool. And Rondo's there too, so.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. Like I said, obviously Westbrook's going to be the guy because he's going to be the one they lean on in the regular season, and Rondo's the, safety net in case something happens to him. But, he's an Iron Man. So, yeah, Russell Westbrook definitely biggest addition. I think Howard's a big addition. But,
Now, Howard came back to the Lakers, right?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So, Westbrook, it's obvious that Westbrook is. I don't think DeAndre Jordan is going to do anything. He is a old, was he like 32? He's not the Lob City guy he used to be. So Westbrook's definitely going to help them in the regular season, try to get that better seed, take, pressure off of LeBron and AD, let them rest, be a big boost for the fans. But I'm sure we'll go more into it come when we talk about the Pacific.
I think the biggest addition for the Lakers was definitely Carmelo Anthony, in my opinion. I feel like the bench shooting he's going to bring is just needed for that team.
Pending he can stay healthy.
It
is Carmelo. It is Carmelo. He's not really injury prone, but when he's on, he's on, and when he's not, he's not.
But he's going to be the leader off the bench. They need a guy like him to come in and just be like, yeah, I'm going to be off the bench. I'm taking over.
But here's the thing, though. Who's the sixth man for the Lakers at this point? Who's going to come in as the sixth man? Is it going to be Rondo? Is it going to be Carmelo?
Depending on his development, you got THT's going to be a pretty important piece. Malik Monk coming off the bench shooting threes is going to be big. Melo's sitting in the corner. It's, he's okay. I think Rondo's probably going to be the leader off the bench just because of who he is as a player, attitude, worked with LeBron before. But, they're going to have to figure out that dynamic quick.
Yeah, so my next question was going to be the biggest hurdle that they have this year and, working together and...
I would say it's going to be somebody putting their egos aside and if they can work as a team. I think it's going to be a deal between the egos of the vets. I mean, we've seen it before. We've seen it before with LeBron and how his ego will get to him during playoffs. So.
Yeah, but I mean, like, Dwight won a championship with him before putting his ego away. Rondo won a championship with him before putting his ego away. Carmelo knows this is his last chance to win a championship and try to get that last piece for his resume. THT's, still a young guy. Bazemore, Trevor Ariza, they all know who they are. So I don't think it's so much necessarily like an ego thing. I just think it's, because everyone's going to, they're going to listen to what LeBron says and because they know he's, the bell cow, but it's going to be more along the lines of, their lineups. I mean, they've added shooters and stuff like that. I mean, how often is AD going to play the 5? Is Westbrook his play style? You know what I mean?
Right.
So I think it's more along the lines of, Vogel's going to have to really go in and be like, hey, this is, some of the playbooks, what's he drawing up, pick and roll situations, small ball versus they can go bigger than anybody. So it's going to be, it's going to just depend a lot on, that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's hopefully they'll have it figured out by the playoffs, but I don't know.
I feel like the biggest hurdle would be like Westbrook. He's known for having somewhat of an ego, putting it aside and being like, yeah, like, I'll listen to LeBron because I don't know if he'll actually do it or not.
I would hope he would.
Yeah, you would hope he would, but it's Russell Westbrook. You know for a fact his ego's gonna get in his head.
On the real, yes, 100%. 100%. We saw it in Oklahoma City. We saw it in Houston. We saw it in, well, I wouldn't say we saw it so much in Washington, but we definitely saw it from his time at the Thunder. And this is coming from a Thunder fan, and I hate to say it. It was definitely with Oklahoma City at that time being a young team, their egos are definitely going to be there. And then with the situation in Houston, it was definitely big ego in Houston. So
the difference between, I think, all those scenarios for Westbrook, and at least what I'm assuming is, like you said, they were a young team in Oklahoma City. So
exactly.
He perceived himself as an equal of that big three. And then when James Harden left him, he considered himself Kevin Durant's equal because Kevin Durant hadn't won anything. Kevin Durant didn't have an MVP. He considered himself an equal on that. And then same thing with Houston. Hey, I know Harden, he's won MVP. I won MVP, stuff like that. So, I mean, again, it's still them. He still finds himself as an equal going to Washington. He knew he was the leader. I mean, Bradley Beal's, I think, a very good number 2, but everyone knows Bradley Beal's not number 1. But when you come to LA, he's having to deal with LeBron. Like, wherever you have LeBron at, he's in your top 5 all time. Wherever you have him at, and Westbrook knows that, and Westbrook knows this is his team. Westbrook knows what LeBron has done and his resume. So I think Westbrook will kind of, follow LeBron, but I also think too, they're going to just let Westbrook do his thing during the regular season because he's going to have the energy and he's a freaking Iron Man. Like he's the, so I'm just hoping that they don't get used to that and then they can go back to more of a different style come the playoffs and just use Westbrook to get, a top 3 seed.
Right. And I could see it, but also you got with Westbrook going back home to LA. Okay. He graduated UCLA, grew up in LA. You're pretty much playing for your hometown team. So with that being said, and the God, we can't call him a dynasty anymore, but with the way the legacy, there we go. The legacy that the Lakers have, it's like, God, and it's a completely different sport. It's like, Sebastian Vettel and his time at Red Bull and how he was at Red Bull versus when he went to Ferrari. It's a maturity thing. And
you do know that there's no NBA fans that know what you're talking about right now.
Right. But when it comes to it, it's a maturity thing. It is a big maturity thing. So I think I with you guys saying that I can see what you're saying. 100%. 100%. I can see what you guys are saying. It's a matter of how he goes about it, and he perceives himself at the Lakers.
It'll be interesting. Like I said, we'll probably dive more into this when we go over the Pacific in general. But I mean, it's fun. The DeAndre Jordan signing. You know, I just don't think much of it. What's crazy is he's like 32 or 33, and he's one of the younger guys on the team.
Yep.
All right, so now, I suppose we'll move into the Central Division. Just a reminder for everybody, the Central Division is Milwaukee Bucks, the Indiana Pacers, Chicago Bulls, Detroit Pistons, and Cleveland Cavaliers. Who won the offseason?
I'm going to go with the Bulls. 100% the Bulls came away with the offseason.
Yeah, the Bulls definitely had a big offseason. I do think the Bucks, for the most part, keeping their team intact. Yeah, they lost PJ Tucker, but I do think, re-signing Bobby Portis, George Hill. I think the Grayson Allen move is a sneaky good move. So I'm gonna stick with the Bucks over the Bulls having the best offseason, because outside of Tucker, they didn't really lose anything.
That is true. That is true.
I feel like the Bulls definitely killed it in the offseason. It's just them adding DeMar DeRozan to accompany Levine and Vucevic. That's a huge move.
Big move.
In the same note, losing Lauri Markkanen, I don't know how he was going to fit the team with Levine and all that, almost hurts them in a way as well, because he was a guy that was going to be good for setting screens and the pick and pop game and all that.
I mean, y'all are forgetting the best pickup they had, Mr. Pizza Delivery Man, Alex Caruso.
I was just looking at him.
Jesus, baby.
I was about to say, with Alex Caruso being there, and that dude, yes, 100%. Like, I think Caruso will be a great backup to Lonzo. For sure.
I completely forgot the Bulls got Lonzo. Wow, yeah. That team's going to be really good.
Well, I mean, I'm not as high on Lonzo as other people. I will give him credit for it seems like he is getting better each season, but like he's not even close to what his hype was. And I know his dad had a lot to do with that, and Magic had a lot to do with that, but like he's an okay shooter. He's defender, facilitator. I know he was probably running the wrong offense in New Orleans. But I feel like he's still more of a combo guard, and you already had that in Zach LaVine and Kobe White. Like, I don't know.
Did they, Patrick Williams is still on that team, right?
Patrick Williams, yes, he still is.
He has a lot of potential. I think he'd probably be a future All-Star one day.
Yes, 100%.
Okay, so who do you guys think was the biggest addition? I feel like we kind of already got into a little bit of that, but out of all the teams, who had the biggest addition?
I want to say the Bulls, just because of Lonzo and DeMar, 100%. Going off of what Rob said, it's going to be DeMar and Lonzo complimenting Zach LaVine.
I'm going to go with Detroit getting Cade Cunningham is the best addition. Like, dude is good. I think he's got so much freaking potential. I know the Pistons are, a dumpster fire, but
facts.
But I mean, they got a piece that they're going to be able to build around, and Yeah, I really like Cade Cunningham.
Cade's a great ball handler.
Mm-hmm.
He's a hell of a ball handler.
Yeah.
I don't know much about Cade Cunningham, but I know enough to know that dude's got handles for days.
All right. So, who do you guys think was the biggest loss of the offseason?
Ooh.
I say the Bulls losing Larry Marketing in that division is probably the biggest loss because they traded him to a division rival, if I remember correctly, to the Cavs. I want to say.
Yeah.
But no one's worried about the Cavs.
Yeah,
no one's
exactly,
worried.
because it's
I
Creed.
mean, yes, no one's worried about the Cavs, but I'm just saying
sorry.
them losing a young player like that was a key part of their core, hurts them a bit. I have to imagine.
Yeah, Lori does kind of hurt in that. PJ Tucker did have a lot of playoff minutes for the Bucks. Even though I'm still kind of high on what they did, him being the only loss. I mean, it is a singular big loss. So yeah, he might be the one singular big loss that I can think of. Unless you are counting, why am I blanking? The Cavaliers losing, Larry Nance Jr. Like, they were really, he was feel like a decent kind of player for them, but
It really wasn't a loss.
it really wasn't a loss.
Who do you guys think will be worse, the Pistons or the Cavaliers?
That one's going to be a toss-up. That one's a coin toss. At least for me, that one's a coin toss. It could definitely go either way.
I'm going to say the Pistons are probably going to be worse. I like, the guard play that the Cavaliers have. And, they still got Jared Allen, Ricky Rubio coming off the bench, kind of, doing that, Lauri Markkanen. I mean, they have the makings of a team that potentially will not suck. I can't say that the Pistons have potential to not suck. Like, the Pistons are guaranteed to suck. I think the Cavs have potential not to suck, but it's kind of where I'm at.
I feel like they're going to be like a middle of the road team. Like, they're not going to be good enough to make the playoffs, but they'll be good enough to, contend in most games. Because I feel like the two guards of Sexton and Garland, plus Jared Allen, Markkanen,
Evan Mobley.
Building, Mobley, they're going to really, at least, I think, show some kind of flash of a team they might be in the future this year.
Yeah, I still think that if I had to put money on it, the Pistons would be the worst team. The Cavs would be the second worst team.
Are you just talking this division, obviously, right?
Yeah, just this division.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds about right. Unless the Bulls somehow don't click and fall to the bottom.
They ain't gonna fall that far.
Yeah. All right, so who do you guys think will... Oh, sorry.
No, you're good.
Who do you guys think will win the division?
It's going to be close between the Bucks and the Bulls. It's going to be close between the Bucks and the Bulls, especially with Giannis. And if Giannis could definitely stay healthy in the regular season all the way through the postseason and playoffs, it's going to be a crazy one. especially between the Bucks and the Bulls.
Am I the only one who thinks the Bucks handily win this division?
Yeah, I think
Probably.
they win it easily, like by at least 10 games. Like they are still that much better.
I like
really
the Bulls.
think
I like the moves they made, but Giannis and Chris Middleton and that core they have in Milwaukee is still 10 times better than that Bulls core.
I forgot all about him, dude. I honestly forgot about him being right there along with
he's
with
a forgettable
Giannis.
guy.
Yeah, I mean, but like you look at what the Bucks can do, like
Giannis is the best player in the league.
Hands down, that is big facts. I won't even argue with that.
He's a matchup night. Teams aren't going to throw their best defenses at him during the regular season. They're going to try to save some tricks and stuff like that. He dominates the fast break. I mean, you put a stretch four on him, they're not going to be strong enough to take him. You put a 5 on him, they're not going to be quick enough to take him. And if he keeps on I know it's still a long shot, but he can still probably develop his 3-point shot. I don't think it's going to get markedly better, but if he can shoot 33% from the 3-point line, I mean, he's just a nightmare. You got Drew Holiday still leading things. Like I said, you did lose Tucker, but I mean, it's a team that just won the championship. I mean, there should be no doubt that, Bobby Portis might come in and they're probably definitely going to come in and start, I'd imagine. So, I mean, I can't not pick them by at least 10 games. Like I would take that. I would take money on that. Like they'd win the division by at least 10 games.
How is Giannis in the double team though? How is Giannis versus the double team?
About as good as Aaron Donald in the NFL when he deals with a double team. Like he's gonna win it, and he's still a pretty decent passer too. I mean, if you're just gonna double team him, you still got Drew Holiday, you still got Chris Middleton, you got DiVincenzo when he comes back, Bobby Portis. Like,
what did he end up doing that he's not healthy right now? What did he end up doing?
I forgot what it was, but I think it was like a leg injury, but he was out for the whole playoffs, and he's a good 3-and-D type of player on the wing. So I mean, it's and then they've got the shooters. Like I said, I think the Grayson Allen pick is a sneaky good pick for them. George Hill coming off the bench, one of the best 3-point shooters in the league. Like
isn't he old now, or is he still young?
I mean, he's still early 30s, but still, I mean, his percentage. I know he doesn't take a lot of threes, but he still is like one of the highest percentage 3-point shooters out there. And he still plays pretty good defense. I mean, and during the regular season, you're not just people have been double teaming Giannis for how many years now, and he's still 2 MVPs or whatever. Like, it doesn't matter. It's just that people double team Shaq too, and it just didn't matter.
Yeah, it didn't matter because Shaq came into play because the dude couldn't shoot. I mean,
and he still in his MVP year was averaging like 33, 14, and 5, like something like that. Like
some Giannis, outrageous fucking number.
Yeah, Giannis is going to do the same thing. I mean, it's just who he is. He goes hard. And as much as the Bulls got better, they were still 10 games under 500 last year. So like, I can't buy the Bulls being close, even though I do think they would be markedly better.
Makes sense.
Okay, so just a couple minutes left. Do you guys want to give your picks, like rank how the division finishes?
I'll let one of y'all go first on that one.
I'm going to go Bucks, Bulls, Pacers, Cavs, Pistons. Indiana is just a meh. I think
they're middle of the road.
Bucks are going to be a 60-win team. I think 65 win team. I think the Bulls could get to 50. They could possibly. Indiana's going to be 40 win team at best. The Cavs probably win high 20s, maybe low 30s, and Detroit's going to be under 20 wins.
For me, it's going to be Bulls, Bucks, Pacers, and I'm going to go Detroit and then Cleveland.
Okay, I'm going to go Bucks, Bulls, Cavs, Pacers, Detroit.
That's bold. That's bold with Indiana. That's bold with Indiana. What made it bold was the Indiana.
I see the Cavs winning like 37 games and squeaking barely by for third.
Woo! That's bold.
That young core to me just, I don't know, it screams very competitive if it gets put together.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but I mean the Cavs are a worse version of the Trailblazers. A significantly worse version. They got two small guards, a small three, okay center, and
they play a lot of small ball.
Yeah, and they don't really have great depth. So I mean, Indiana. Maybe the Cavs have a better starting five, but I know Indiana. They did lose Holiday and they lost McDermott, but still, I can't buy the Cavs being that much better, even with marketing.
It's not
like they still got that Kevin Love situation kind of hanging over them too. Like, what are they going to do with that?
I don't think they're going to be like significantly better. I think if they finish in third, it's going to be maybe by a game, maybe a game and a half at the most. It's one of those things where it could be up in the air.
And Indiana trades all their players to start tanking. It's the Cavs need to figure out what they're going to do with Love. If he's not accepting a buyout, no one's going to want to trade with him having 2 years left on his contract.
Is he honestly going to be in the league much longer? I mean, be honest. Is Love even really going to be in the league much longer?
He's got 2 more years to make money. And so I'm sure, like I said, I talked about this last week, what's more than likely going to happen is he's going to play for the Cavs this year. They're going to trade him in the off season because that $30 million is going to be a nice cap clear for someone, that's trying to go after, a big free agent. So yeah, I think he's going to play at least the next 2 years and then he'll be on veteran minimums after that.
Yeah, I can see that. Now, I'm with that Kevin Love thing, man. I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. And this is a shoot, okay? But if that's the case, if he gets traded, I would really like to see him go to like San Antonio. I'd like to see him go to the Spurs. I would really like to see.
Do you just not want him to ever win again?
I mean, it's not that I don't want him to win again. I'd like to see Kevin Love in the West. I would like to see Kevin Love in the West.
Like when he was at Minnesota?
Yeah.
Kind of like when he was in Minnesota, yeah, but not at Minnesota per se.
Probably, if he gets traded, and then I don't know if how guaranteed his contract is, he's probably going to sign a veteran minimum to. We'll see what happens with the Clippers. Maybe the Clippers will try to go after him and get him off the bench.
I actually like that.
It's possible.
I actually like that.
We're just about out of time, so actually I think that would be a great topic for us for next week. Destinations for Kevin Love. And then the Southeast Division next week.
Southeast Division. Who's Southeast? That's Florida, right?
Wizards,
Yeah.
Magic, yeah.
Okay, I was about to say that's the Florida teams pretty much.
Do we really have to discuss the Southeast? We know the Hawks are going to win it.
Oh, yeah, of course the Hawks are gonna win it. Trey Young's a GOAT.
Oh God, I'm saving my opinions for next week.
He's not Josh Smith, but he's legit.
That was me, quote unquote, shit posting. If you want to be real.
Yeah, no, I think I'm excited about next week. Go over my Hawks and remind people that Charlotte's still trash.
Oh God, don't say that. Don't say that. The Charlotte admin might get a little triggered.
I'm gonna tell Cam to get on here. I'm gonna let him know.
Hey, if we do that, we have got to we can't refer to them as the Hornets. We have to refer to them as the Bobcats.
Oh yeah, for sure.
We have to refer to them as the Bobcats.
If for nothing else, to take Cam off.
Oh, and really trigger him by saying, "Hey, DJ Augustine is the greatest Bobcats player to ever play the game."
Hey, tell me about that Sean May guy.
Tell me about Adam Morrison, man.
All right, so I'd like to thank everybody for joining us tonight. We'll see you next week.
Yeah. See you next week, y'all.
See you guys.